Buddhism, practiced by people worldwide, young and old, is the fifth most practiced religion on the planet. While being practiced dominantly in China and India, the Buddhist population spreads worldwide. In Buddhism, there are three main branches: Mahayana, Vajrayana, and Theravada. Today, we will be studying the Theravada branch.
What is the human condition? In Buddhism, there is no self. In Theravada Buddhism, one is to attain self-liberation through one's own efforts. Once that has been done, a person is then called a worthy person, also known as an arhat. The human condition is taught with 5 parts that create a human, called the 5 khandhas, linked to the 5 senses. The human condition is also the belief that humans are stuck in samsara. Samsara is the endless cycle of existence characterized by illusion, maya, and craving, tanha, that lead to suffering, also known as dukkha. The human condition comprises 2 significant themes, including sacred texts and doctrines and beliefs. To begin, with sacred texts, development is the first significant subset that speaks on the human condition. Development within Theravada Buddhism consists of the Pali Canon passing down through the monastic order. The Tripitaka is sometimes called the Pali Canon and is the oldest, most accurate record of Buddhist teachings. This is a part of the human condition because Theravada Buddhists must follow and learn of these scriptures. Interpretation of Theravada Buddhism is another essential aspect of the human condition, as Theravada also means the way of the elders. Finally, the human condition is also centered on their language, Pali and Sanskrit. These languages represent different interpretations, and Theravada uses Pali.
Buddhists refer mainly to the Pali Canon as their statements of belief. The Pali Canon is the most complete scripture and dates the furthest back compared to any other Buddhist scripture. The Pali Canon guides Theravada Buddhists on how to live their daily lives and also provides a guide on how monks can reach nirvana. It encourages donation and giving oneself to Buddhism. It also teaches of the eschatology believed in Buddhism. Eschatology is the part of theology concerned with death and the afterlife, and also the final destiny of the human condition. It is believed that rebirth is instantaneous upon death in Theravada. Gaining a favorable rebirth is the goal of Theravada Buddhists, and they do this through good karma.
Worshippers dedicate their lives to following the Dharma and living in the way of Buddha. In Theravada Buddhism, after death, it is believed they will reach enlightenment through nirvana, or sometimes known as nibbana. Nirvana is the ultimate goal Theravadan male monks try to reach at the end of their life. It is what is considered the afterlife. Nirvana comes from the Sanskrit word for disappearance or extinction of one from the universe, otherwise known as the real world. Nirvana also represents a state of liberation from suffering and individuality in the world. In Theravada Buddhism, monks strive to be arhats. An arhat is a liberated being or freed being that a monk obtains after they pass on. Essentially, an arhat is one who has reached a state of perfection and true enlightenment. They are also referred to as the perfect saints, given what being an arhat entails. To reach this status, Theravadan monks spend countless hours striving to become arhats through constant meditation.
Once the monks have become arhats, this means they have followed the Noble Eightfold Path to blow out their candle of life, or essentially their existence. Once the monks have reached enlightenment through nirvana and become arhats, they are considered to be released from samsara. Samsara is the beginningless repeating cycle of rebirth. Samsara is known as dukkha, which translates to suffering, unhappiness, or pain, thus leading to karma and rebirth. Once monks reach the stage of nirvana and become arhats, they are no longer have to be reborn through the cycle of samsara. Although nirvana is the ultimate goal, most Theravada Buddhists hope to be reborn in the Tusita heaven and later reborn on earth at the time of Buddha Mitteya. It is believed that the world will be renewed when Buddha Mitteya comes back to earth. Therefore, monks aspire to be on the earth during this time.
How can Theravada Buddhists achieve enlightenment? Wisdom is the ultimate goal of Theravada Buddhists' many hours of meditation. The lotus flower is a famous symbol of Theravada Buddhism because it grows from marshy water and blossoms into beauty, just like monks acquire enlightenment by following Buddha's way. Theravada Buddhists believe the historical Buddha's statement that one could see him physically while he was alive, but that one must see and grasp his teaching in order to fully see him as a Buddha. Theravada Buddhists believe that Buddha vanished when he died. They think that miracles are conceivable, but that producing them should be avoided until they aid in the attainment of enlightenment. The Buddha was a man called Siddhartha Gautama, according to the Theravada belief. His teachings have been a source of authority for Theravada Buddhists since his death. Because the Buddha is no longer alive, he does not have the status of a god. Living in monastic tradition, according to Theravada Buddhism, is the most optimal road to nirvana. Followers are expected to avoid all forms of evil, collect all that is good, and purify their minds. The Sangha refers to the monastic community. Individuals of any age can join, and some do at a very young age. A monastic existence is governed by 227 rules, the Patimokkha. Palikanan, or Tripitaka, is passed down orally from the Buddha to the 5 arhats, his original followers and now enlightened persons, to the monastic order, because Theravada is the most traditional form of Buddhists, hence the name Way of Elders. In order to achieve enlightenment, there's a focus on living the 5 precepts. Refrain from taking life, from taking what is not given, from the misuse of the senses, from wrong speech, and from intoxicants that cloud the mind, and also the Eightfold Path. The 3 jewels are the 3 things that Buddhists give themselves to, and in return look for guidance, in the process known as taking refuge that plays a role in leading Theravada Buddhists to enlightenment. These are both chanted during worship. Theravada Buddhists also give offerings of puja during their worship. They pray for around 8 hours each day and fast for most of it, eating only 1 meal.
Monastic life is extremely significant in Theravada Buddhism in order to achieve enlightenment. Theravada Buddhists understand Buddha as the god of wisdom. The term arhat denotes someone who has reached the stage of enlightenment and should be followed. The emphasis is placed on the monastic order because only monks can achieve nirvana. Anyone who is not a monk can gather good karma instead by helping a monk achieve nirvana, and in reincarnation, one can become a male and then choose the path to become a monk. The focus is not just on Buddha as a person, but his teachings. All Buddha did was meditate and fast. Therefore, that aspect is closely followed by Theravada Buddhists. The monastic community consists of monks, bhikkhus, and nuns, bhikkhunis. Spending time in a monastery is seen as the ideal life and is important in order to achieve enlightenment. Regarding conversion, there is no specific ceremony to perform to become a Theravada Buddhist. As Theravada Buddhists place a lot of emphasis on monastic life, it is recommended to visit a monk of the Theravada tradition and discuss the teachings of Buddha. It is important to familiarize oneself with Theravada doctrines and teachings, for example, by looking in the Tripitaka. Once one accepts the Buddhist teaching and by continuing with practice, they are able to become a Theravada Buddhist. Some of the teachings and practices that are involved within this conversion process is the realization that all is Maya and illusion, and to practice non-attachment, which will allow for the path to enlightenment. Theravada Buddhists try to seek nirvana as soon as possible. A significant aspect of achieving enlightenment in Theravada Buddhism is liberation from desire, attachment, and distractions by following the teachings on how Buddha achieved nirvana, which involves discipline within the mind, body, which can all come from meditation. In Theravada Buddhism, the goal has to do with wisdom, also known as manjushri. The 2 forms of meditation are samatha, a calming meditation, and vipassana, an insight meditation. Samatha is the earliest form of meditation with temporary effects to make the mind calmer. Vipassana is used to achieve insight about the true nature of things and is often viewed as more difficult to attain. As mentioned before, Theravada Buddhists have a more strict approach when it comes to interpretations, which is consistent with ethical, practice, and legal issues as well. Theravada Buddhists promote ahimsa, which is the ethical principle of not causing harm to other living things. Avoiding harm is essential regarding physical, mental, as well as emotional harm. This principle is not just about being nonviolent to Theravada Buddhists. It is about completely avoiding any harm no matter what.
In conclusion, Theravada is a very unique branch of religion and is the oldest Buddhist branch, coining itself the name Way of the Elders. It is beautiful because it relies on the generosity of its people and lays a foundation from giving. It is not centered around the self, instead, it is centered around how Buddhists care for others and find peace with themselves. Thank you for watching our documentary on Theravada Buddhism.